Hello! If you are here for the webinar Content Strategy as a Service, you've made it to the right place. So we've got lots of friends from around the world. All of FOMA, nice to see you. Brian, Aisha, Camille, Leah. It is so good to see everybody. This is a free webinar put on by the B2B Writing Institute, where we help people learn how to write and sell excellent business-to-business marketing content. I'm the founder, Sarah Griesbach. I've been freelancing in the B2B space since 2013. And as I turn down the music, it might seem odd that a bunch of writers are going to get together and talk about content strategy, but my response to that is, who do you think is writing the content? Because content marketing is so much better when writers understand what's going on. We do better work. We're less stressed about turning stuff in and getting feedback. We can contribute more to the conversation and the planning. Just very good things happen when the writer is involved. So whether you're a writer who wants to shift into content strategy and change the work you're doing completely, or you're just a writer who wants to learn more about what you do and make it a little better, today is going to be really valuable, really actionable. Everybody we're hearing from has worked with clients on strategy, and for some, it's all that they do. So consider this exposure therapy for having more confidence in how content works and what role you get to play in it. So we're going to go right into it. Just a couple technical notes. First, I'm in the chat, so I'm going to be watching you, sharing links, helping you learn more about the people who are talking. You are surrounded just by curious writers, so please don't be shy with any questions. If you have a question about someone who's not able to present live today, I'm going to collect those and send them to them and then put that in the replay. And then second, this is a super flexible event. There will be a replay. It is not easy at all to find 2 hours to sit quietly, especially if you're caretaking for anyone. So it's wonderful if you can be here live, but if you need to pop in and out, come back, do the replay, that is fair game, and we're here for it. So it is my pleasure to say that's all for me.
Hey folks, it's my pleasure to be here with you today, attending this live. I had some really unplanned events, but I record this for you and how to create an ROI-led content marketing strategy that actually drives you more customers and more revenue for your company, no matter whether you're the founder, CEO, or you're working for someone else, it doesn't matter. So yeah, that's essentially the topic of today's talk. Before I dive deep, just 2 words about me, so you can know me better. I was the head of content on Lemlist, one email outreach solution. I helped them go from 0 to over 3 million in annual recurring revenue in a year or so with the help of content marketing. And I'm also the founder of Content Halls, where I consulted over 20 plus different SaaS companies so far, such as UserPilot, GetResponse, Surfer SEO, PopTeam, SenseSpark, Lemlist, Lampod, dozens of them. And where in total so far our work attributed to between $15 to $20 million in revenue for our clients. And besides that, I'm also the founder where we do a slightly different form of content for our clients, and there we help them produce high quality podcasts for themselves or for their brands, and we bring business experts. We are booking business experts to speak on other relevant high quality shows in their niche. And the title that I recently got, I'm a proud father of one really great boy. His name is Vukan. On Serbian that means like a little wolf, so on English I'm calling him a wolf. No more words about me, let's dive deep. So the first thing that I want to start with are some of the most common mistakes I see that founders, marketeers, writers out there are making when it comes to their content marketing. And the first one being that stop, please, for the God's sake, stop optimizing your strategy for more traffic. Because in reality, when you look at content marketing, the sole purpose of content marketing is to bring you more revenue, to bring you more customers. Otherwise, if we are not optimizing our efforts for that, doing content marketing doesn't make sense. And I've seen that many people out there start by targeting some terms with a really huge search volume. And that's bad because in reality, that huge search volume, that huge traffic that you're going to get, that is not relevant traffic for you. I mean, they might be relevant, but 6 months later, right? So right now, to get more customers, you need people who are ready to buy right now, and I'm later going to show you how to find them through content, how to engage with them, and how to convert them. But the first thing is, traffic is not the North Star metric of content marketing, but rather conversions. We'll speak more about that later on. But the first, this is the most common mistake. And the second one is that many people out there assume they know everything about their customers. In business, you have a product market fit, and a business can't be successful without achieving a product market fit. It's the same in content. So there is a term I like to call a content market fit, and you can't achieve great results through your content marketing if you don't have a content market fit. We're going to talk more about that later on, but essentially it doesn't make sense to invest a lot of resources into content marketing if you don't know your customers very well. And the best way and the only way to know your customers very well is to interview them, to do an ICP research, to ask them about their struggles, and that way you don't have assumptions and you have an actionable knowledge that you can use, take and implement inside your content to start creating more meaningful content that will engage better with your potential market and to convert those potential customers to actual customers that are paying you more money. So those are like the two most common mistakes I see people make. And now let me show you how to create a successful content marketing strategy that drives more revenue. So the first thing is that you need to choose your goals. And I strongly believe that when it comes to this, there are in reality only two content marketing goals that you can choose from. The first one is to improve your overall brand awareness, and the second one is to get more customers. Ultimately, both of those lead to more customers. It's just the difference is how we're going to get these two customers. Right, so the first one I'll show you later, but essentially in the nutshell, the first one, improve your brand awareness. In this case, you're speaking to 97% of your total market size who are either not aware of the problem or who are aware of the problem that you're solving, but they're not looking for a solution. And the reason why we are doing that is because we as a customers, we have a very limited mental availability, and inside our mental availability are like 2 to maximum of 5 brands that we can think of, and those are usually the biggest category leaders. So for example, let me ask you like one question right now. Out of your head, name me, so the first companies that comes to your mind, name me like the company's email marketing solutions that you can think of right out of your head. I'm giving you 5 seconds for that. How many of them you mentioned? 5. And that will be like MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, GetResponse, Klaviyo, and perhaps ConvertKit, right? Those are the 5 that came first to my mind. But in reality, there are thousands of email marketing solutions. And those 5 came to our mind because they're the biggest category leaders in the... And your goal as a small, medium stage company is to be among those 5. However, those 5 have a very huge resources, 100 times more resources than you have. Being in top 5 results inside someone's mental availability is very hard. And that's why that's the goal when it comes to improving brand awareness. And the second one, get more customers, faster way to get more. It's essentially a faster way to get more customers that, by my honest opinion, early stage and mid stage SaaS companies should focus on the second goal over here, which is get more customers. Now, throughout the entire presentation, I'm going to speak about SaaS brands, but essentially the philosophy of this entire approach can be implemented in any other business model as well, whether that's like e-commerce, agency, services, whatever it is. Anyway, now when we have our goals, it's time to see what kind of content should we create based on your SaaS stage. Pretty much every that I mentioned from now on can be done in any stage, but from what I've seen during the past 5 years, these are the content types that usually bring the most results based on each stage of a company. So as an early stage SaaS companies with like up to $500,000 in annual recurring revenue, I strongly believe that you should focus only on the ROI-led content that targets high intent and long-tail keywords. And these forms of ROI-led content are, first of all, product review and comparison or alternative articles, such as, for example, we tried 5 best MailChimp alternatives. So go out and identify 10, 15, 20 best competitors in your space, biggest category leaders. Do the research inside Ahrefs, Moz, whatever you prefer, and find out keywords that make sense. So those could be like X competitors, X alternatives, X reviews, whatever it is. Then we have product-led growth or the PLG articles, and I really like these forms of content. And what essentially PLG article stands for, those are the articles that tend to solve one problem that your audience has by subtly promoting your solution. So if you go out and you type down, let's say, a keyword research, the second or third article that pop out will be the Ahrefs keyword research guide. And if you take a closer look at it, you'll see that throughout 50, 60, 70% of the articles, they are showing to you how to do a great keyword research by using Ahrefs. And this is another form of content that does really well when it comes to the conversions. So do an ICP research, identify the problems that your potential customers have, and write an articles that solve those problems. But remember, don't be overly promotional, mention your product only when relevant. And the third form are like success stories or the customer stories. I really like them, and they are very great for that really bottom of the funnel for the companies that are still not 100% sure whether they should go with you or not, so they're pretty indecisive. Have prepared like 5, 10, 15 case studies, success stories or customer stories, and distribute them to those people who are not 100% ready that they should buy from you. Then you have mid-stage SaaS companies with between like $500K to $5 million in annual recurring revenue. And the first thing is that, of course, you should still continue writing the ROI-led content, so like product reviews, comparison articles, PLG content, success stories. And here we are introducing also the sales enablement content for the companies that are doing an outbound sales, right? So those would be like ebooks, reports, analyses, whatever it is, cheat sheets, whatever can help your salespeople get more demos, more contracts, more people saying yes, and so on. But then here is the time to slowly start thinking about the mid of the funnel content. So like that can be best templates for X, best tools for Y, and so on. What's also good to do here is to experiment with different types and formats of content, because at the end of the day, I'm not 100% sure that this is going to work for you, but I'm 98% sure, because everything here is based on a very clear, and in reality you should try, and we are also doing this for our clients, you should try to test and iterate as much as possible. So have 5 content pieces from one content type, publish them, distribute them, see if they work. If they don't work, try to learn what doesn't work, move to the next one, improve, etc., etc. It's all about this constant improvement and feedback loop. Also, this is a time when you should double down on content distribution. We'll talk about that later as well. And you should also start laying down foundations for building the media company. And this is more like a thought leadership brand awareness play as well. As a scale-up companies, 5 million to 20 million in annual recurring revenue, we should try to focus on content velocity and scaling the content production for different stages of start laying down foundations for the very competitive high search volume tofu terms. So if you're building an SEO tool, that tofu term might be keyword research, content marketing, backlink building, whatever it is. So those like short phrases with like tens of thousands of potential traffic. Double down on content distribution as well, focus on other content types, and focus now aggressively on the media company. So at this stage, I believe that everything is based on doubling down on the velocity, doubling down on the systems. So creating a frictionless systems that produce like 50, 60, 70 articles a month without, of course, listen to me carefully now, without sacrificing the quality of the content itself. So the quality should always come first, and then comes the quantity. I'm a strong believer that quality should be first, and I'm a strong enemy of people who are saying that velocity is more important than quality and you should aim to produce 50, 100, 150 articles each month. That's a bullshit for me when it comes to, from my perspective of view, quality always beats quantity. But if you can manage to have both quality and quantity, then you are really the winner inside your category. And at the end, we have the enterprise companies with over $20 million in annual recurring revenue. So like super total leadership pieces, start promoting and speaking at conferences, newsletter, other podcasts. Of course, you can also start doing this before if you have time and resources, of course. Now, since you're an enterprise now, you have money, you have budgets, you can start building your own category. If you're in a super competitor category, of course, and you're still not the leader inside your field, and triple down on the media company for the brand awareness. This is your market size, right? So we have around 70% of people who are not aware that the problem that you solve exists. Then you have another 27% who are aware of the problem, but they're not looking for a solution, and 3% of people who are looking for a solution right now. In case you want to get more customers, if that's your primary goal, and throughout this presentation, I assume it is, and that's the topic of the entire presentation, then first you want to focus on these 3% of people down here. And then once you nail this down, once you produce every piece of content that you possibly can, then it's time to focus on the other 27% with some other mid of the funnel, top of the funnel content, success story, whatever it is. Now, since we know what are our goals, we know what kind of content we are going to produce, it's time to understand our North Star metrics. And I'm really a strong believer that there are only two North Star metrics for content marketing. The first one being direct traffic and the search volume of your branded keywords. And this is the North Star in case that you want to improve your brand awareness. And the second North Star metric is conversion, so the amount of conversions that you're getting through your content in case your goal is to get more customers. Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying that you shouldn't check traffic. Traffic is important to play, but we must learn not to depend traffic and not use it as a key KPI of content marketing success, because in reality, that's just a numbers game. That's just a vanity metric that tells us nothing. I would personally prefer to have 1,000 really high quality visitors to my site each month than 100,000 low quality visitors, and to get 100 conversions from those 1,000 than to get 100 conversions from those 100,000, because in reality I need to invest 10 times more resources and efforts to bring 100,000 customers, traffic visitors, than to bring 1,000 visitors. And now when we know everything, now when we are prepared, here are like the 5 elements of a successful content marketing strategy. So there are like 5 pillars. The first one is ICP research, then we have a content strategy, then content writing, content distribution, and content conversion rate optimization. I forgot to include it in presentation, but just a brief outlines of ICP research. So the way how we are doing it at Content Horse for our clients, and we've been working on this process for a very long time, is we interview 5 or so of the clients' salespeople, if they have them. We interview 5 or so customer success or customer support reps, and we also interview like the founder, the chief marketing officer, and perhaps some product manager. The why we are interviewing those people is because they have a constant contact with their customers. And besides that, we also try to interview 10 to 15 of our clients' actual customers. And what are you going to ask them on the interview? So in reality, the goal is to learn as much as you can about them. So we usually always start with things like what kind of problems you experienced before buying X, what prompted you to buy X, how your solution looked like before buying X, what do you like the most about this product, what do you like the least about this product, and so on. Dive deep into the conversations, ask a lot of follow-up questions so you can really understand them. And at the end, we have a couple of personal questions, as I call them. What kind of content do you like to consume? Do you prefer more like a video, text, podcast, whatever? Where do you hang out? What communities are you visiting? What thought leaders are you following? What newsletters are you reading? What podcasts are you listening? And so on. Record all of those interviews, get the transcripts, and analyze them each by each. And after this, you will have a content market fit, and you will exactly know what triggers your customers to buy from you, what kind of content they like to consume, and where you can find them on the web so you can later distribute your content on these places. We spoke about content strategy. Now, all of this was the main the main topic of this presentation, but I just want to quickly guide you, just briefly, through content writing, content distribution, and content conversion rate optimization, because in reality, without those two, no matter how great strategy you have, if you lack with execution, you won't get any results. So here is to how to write a content that converts, and a couple of things that you should avoid first. The first one being, don't be too promotional. Instead, what you want to do is be real, honest, and objective. If you're writing like a comparison or alternative articles, write about good and bad things about each competitors, but also write about good and bad things about you. The second thing is, all articles that you write should be written from your user's perspective and intent. The goal and really the purpose of every article you write is to move your reader from the point A to the point B, because in reality, whatever query we search inside Google, we are searching it because we have some problem and we want a solution, and your article really needs to build solution, right? It needs to bring solution to your reader. So think about their intent and write from their perspective. For example, if you're writing comparison or alternative articles, what you want to do is present different tools for different use cases. And then on the bottom line of the article, you can say, choose tool X if you're an enterprise, choose tool Y if you're looking more cost-effective alternative to X, choose tool B if then the use case that you're the winner, and so on. It's okay not to be the winner for every use case. That even helps you get more conversions through those articles. Don't start article with the boring introduction. So what I always prefer is to tackle down on the actual problems that people have, and in that way engage with them and make them read further. And at the end, like, you can't get conversions if you don't have the call to actions. So at least have 2 or 3 call to actions. Of course, this varies from content type to content type. If you're writing on a comparison or alternative articles, we usually prefer to put a call to action button after the section where we explained our client's tool and on the bottom of the article below the bottom line. And here are a couple of things that you should do. Some of them are general, some of them are more for comparison alternative articles. Concise and actionable TLDR inside the intro and at the bottom line. Not everyone has the time to read 3,000 word article. Make sure to present your main points, main learnings from your article in the intro in 4, 5, 6 bullet points. Briefly, if you're writing an alternative article, briefly explain what process you used to research different tools. This adds to the credibility. If possible, interview different industry experts on their opinions on certain tools and alternatives. If possible, interview your competitors' customers on things they like the most and they don't quite like about your competitors. Take a deep look at G2 at Capterra, try to really understand each product that you're evaluating. If you can, personally test each tool that you're comparing. If your competitors have some real high-touch sales processes, then it's okay not to, but in that case, at least try to interview their customers and take as much insights as you can from G2 or Capterra. Be actionable, so this is for every type of the article that you write. Try to be as actionable as possible, no fluff, no BS, show proof for whatever claiming you make. It adds credibility, it engages better with the readers, it helps you build more trust between you and your potential customers, and ultimately leads to more conversions. And at the end, if you are writing a comparison article, then create a comparison table between each products. It helps your readers visualize everything you are saying. Then we have content distribution. Now in reality, there are 3 types of the channels where you can distribute your content, and you should focus on the channels where your target audience hangs out. Just give me a sec. So the first group of channels we have are the owned channels. Those are the channels that you specifically own. So those are like your website, community, newsletter, your social media, both company social media accounts and personal social media accounts of your teammates, your podcast, your media company if you have it, and so on. Then you have paid channels. So paid ads, Google, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, influencers, podcast ads, sponsorships, essentially whichever channel where you need to pay in order to be featured. And at the end, you have earned channels where you need to earn your reputation in order for them to work. These are also social media, communities. different communities from different people, different companies, guest contributions on like webinars, podcasts, guest blog posts, conferences, or whatever I'm doing right now. Some platforms such as Quora, Reddit, Product Hunt, Growth Hackers, and so on. When it comes to the distribution, the most important thing to understand is that you should distribute your articles based on the intent. For example, if you're writing an article on the 5 best MailChimp alternatives, it doesn't make sense to distribute that article on social, because whoever is scrolling through the feeds right now at that moment, they are not at that moment looking for a MailChimp alternative. So the best way to distribute, the best channel to distribute your comparison articles is the channel where people are searching for MailChimp alternatives, and in this case that would be the best example, the best channel is Google. So run your Google immediately after publishing the article, run the Google AdWords campaign, start getting traffic, see if your article converts. If it doesn't convert, iterate, test, make it better, make it with more conversions. PLG content, on the other hand, can be distributed on all 3 types of channels, so like the earned, paid, owned, tofu as well. Success stories can be distributed on paid and owned channel. For example, a framework that I like to do for my clients is we have a comparison article, we put a Facebook pixel on it, and then we run AdWords for our comparison articles so we can start getting traffic. But then people who don't convert, we start retargeting them on Facebook with the success stories. It's a pretty good framework. In 70% of cases it works. And at the end we have a content conversion rate optimization, and you can't do A/B testing of content, because you can, but that would be bad for the SEO. So it's really all about iterating as much as you can, monitoring the traffic. So once you start getting significant amount of traffic, then you also start working on the CRO. It doesn't make sense to do CRO if your article gets like 50 visitors. So at least 200, 300, 500 visitors a month, then start working on the CRO. And what you also want to do is keep an eye on the metrics, right? So if you see that your reading time is too small, then optimize your introduction. If you see that it's more click-through rate, then optimize your headline. If you have good reading time but conversions are very low, then try optimizing better your hook, bottom line, get back to those interviews that you did, try to communicate those triggers that prompted your existing customers to buy a little bit better inside your content, and the conversions should go up. So when it comes to the content conversion optimization, again, it's everything around iterating and iterating. That's it from my side. Thank you very much for listening to this. I really hope it was helpful. It helped you out. Since I'm not here for a live Q&A session, here you have, feel free to send me a message and I will give my best to help you out. Please, if you implement something out of here and have some success, please don't hesitate to share it with me. I would be more than happy to see you succeeding and getting actual customers through your content.
Cool. So I'll admit, this is actually our first time that we've shared a pre-recorded presentation, but I found myself wanting to re-listen to and play that over and over again myself. I would consider that really advanced content marketing. So if that felt slightly out of grasp, that's a good thing. You're in the right place. If you understood all of that, you're way more advanced than all of us here. So it's really good news all around. And if you have any questions, just make sure you drop that in the chat or email me and I'll make sure it gets to Ugi. And that was just really cool. If you loved content strategy, you're going to see links to everybody's content that you can check out. If this confirms that you are more than ever a writer, the next round of the B2B Writing Career Kickstarter is kicking off in May. And that's the program I do, where we learn how to write all this stuff. We meet for 6 weeks. We write the first clip. We answer all the questions that feel stupid, but ends up being really insightful. That's what we do on Zoom, just like this. So you'll get links to everything, and just thank you. Thank you, Alyssa and Adrian. I feel like we've kicked off some content careers today, and that's not something we get to say every day.
Thank you.